We could survive that. We could survive that. We could survive it. Hello and welcome to We Could Survive That, your survival guide to the movies. I'm Jack. Today I'm joined by my super friend, it's Chris.
You're damn right I'm super. They call me Super 9 because I'm far superior than the film we're about to discuss today.
Are you though?
No, not really. God, I'm still out of breath from standing up to turn the bedroom light off. Jesus.
You just should really podcast with a light on because, we talk about some scary things and you are a notorious scaredy cat.
I am. When we did the Vigil episode, I did spook myself and I had to switch the light on my tablet as I was recording because I was convinced there was a shadowy figure standing at the end of the bed. Uncle was talking about, being alone with a dead body. And there's no dead bodies here, I should point that out, but I was alone and I freaked. And I think that's when the cat sneezed on my leg and made me jump. And they're very scary.
We live on the edge here, though, on the podcast. That's how we do it. That's why we're survival experts, Chris. We thrive on pulling ourselves back from the brink, just in the comfort of our own home. And the brink is we just turn the telly off when it's a bit scary.
Yeah, damn right. I activate, when I'm watching horror films, I have my defense mechanisms, which is the blanket I pull up. So I hold it up just under my eyes so I can put it over them, if anything's about to happen.
Okay.
It's pretty good mechanic. I find it works very effectively.
Ah, good. I mean, the old adage was that if you were watching Doctor Who, you had to go and hide behind the sofa. I find that if a Dalek or something was going to come out of the TV at you, like the Ring style, I think a blanket isn't as effective as having a solid chair in between you.
Do you reckon? I mean, if it was coming out of the TV slowly, you just turn off the TV. It gets sliced in half then, doesn't it? That's how it works. Doorway, turn the TV off, it cuts them in half. Why are we talking about Daleks coming out of the TV?
I don't know.
Anyway, off topic again.
Yeah, pretty much. Super 8, Chris. That is the film that we are talking about today from 2011. There's no real rhyme or reason as to why we're doing it. It's just a film that I had on my Netflix list and thought, yeah, I should probably get around to watching that. And since the only time I actually watch films now is to talk about them on a podcast, here we are.
Well, that's upsetting. I watch films daily. I can't think of a single day in the past 5 years where I've not watched at least one movie in that day.
Really?
Really? I mean, what's the most I've watched? I think 2.5 movies is the most. 2.5 or maybe 3 movies I've watched in a day.
What, in a day?
In a day, that's my record.
Oh, okay.
So not loads, but a movie a day, keeps the doctor away. How the rhyme goes.
Yeah, that's definitely it, Chris. Well done. Super 8 is directed by J.J. Abrams, produced by one Steven Spielberg, who you might recognise. He's done a few films.
I'm familiar with his work, yes. Quiet, though. Quiet indie director. You don't always find his stuff, but I am familiar.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams is also very familiar with his work, because Super 8 is basically a love letter to Spielberg and, other 80s directors. It's kind of Stranger Things before Stranger Things was a strange thing. But if you're craving a bit of Stranger Things and you haven't seen Super 8 yet, then maybe give it a watch, because it's 2 hours of... Sorry, I had crispy chili beef, so I might be a bit crackly. It's hot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 hours of Stranger Things-esque 80s, 70s throwback. This film is set in 1979, which is also when the last film we talked about, Mad Max, was filmed, so a little bit of a connection there. Not really, but there you go.
How did you know it was set in 1979? Did you Google it?
No, there's a little title card thing at the beginning of the film.
Oh, I completely missed that. I figured out it was set in 1979 because of the guy at the gas station using a Walkman. I went, when do they come out? So I Googled it and it said 1979. So I went, this film must be set in 1979.
I like Walkmans, they're handy. I used to listen to the Harry Potter cassette audio tapes on a Walkman.
Nerd.
Look, I was a very slow reader. I'd still be reading them now if it wasn't for Stephen Fry's smooth voice narrating them to me. Yeah,
Okay.
there we go. So, characters, Chris, or plot. Plot. We'll go with the plot first of Super
Okay.
8. Some kids, Charlie, Joe, Kerry, Preston, Martin, and Alice are all out filming for a competition that Charles is wanting to enter. They decide that the best place to film is at this train station place, crossing thing, whatever it is, at midnight. It just so happens that not an RAF, that's British,
Air Force
a
train.
a United Air Force train is coming by late at night. Then there's a bit of a crash. The kids film the crash, and then all sorts of spooky ET-esque stuff goes on, and they get involved in it, don't they?
They do get involved in it, and I'm trying to think of another film where the protagonists were actually useless in the movie, and the outcome would have been the same regardless of their involvement.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
Spielberg
Springs to
one.
mind, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that afterwards, and when the film finished, I thought they could have done nothing in this film, these kids, and the outcome, the overall outcome of the alien finally escaping, spoilers, would have been the same regardless.
Yeah, I did write that down, and I was
You
hoping
did?
to come to it later. I mean, the only difference would have been that Alice maybe would have been eaten. But then if they weren't at the train station anyway to begin with, then I don't think Alice would have been in danger, because she wouldn't
There
have
you
been
go.
involved in the production of the film, and then Joe and the others wouldn't have had a reason to go hunting around for Alice and to try and find the monster's lair.
Lair.
Lair!
Lair.
Lair. It's big.
Yeah,
it's burrow. Nest.
Nest. Nest is good. There you go. Nest.
Man cave.
Man cave.
Garage.
Is it a man, though?
Lab.
Oh, yeah, garage. Lair. Whatever. Subterranean lair. Okay, just call it a subterranean lair. The sub lair.
Yeah, that is a problem, but it's not one that lowered my enjoyment of the film, in the same way that I still really enjoy Indiana Jones, even though the outcome would have been the same if Indy wasn't involved punching Nazis and stuff. It's still fun to see him punch Nazis, just like it's still fun to see the kids in this interact and go on this adventure and the intrigue and the mystery. It's still fun.
Okay, there's another thing this film does, which I'm starting to see as like a 80s trope. Films that have made now and set in the 80s. They always have groups, don't they, and of the kids, but it's always 4 to 5 males with 1 female. Like this did it. Stephen King's It, for example. Stranger Things, like you mentioned, it's all, don't know, about 4 or 5 males and then 1 female to begin with. Anyway, I know Stranger Things adds more people later on.
Yeah,
But,
I don't.
noticing it. Maybe it's just like an 80s stereotype.
It's not just films set in the 80s that do this, like things like the Avengers and Justice League and other team dynamic films. They often just have a sole female character in to be like a romance or something. It's a problem with filmmaking in general, which isn't solely related to films set in the 80s. Like I said before, it pays homage to not Stephen King. Maybe it does pay homage to Stephen King because he was around in the 80s, but Steven Spielberg and other films from the 80s. So I get, again, E.T. vibes from this, and the Goonies with the way that the kids interact with each other, and they're not being portrayed like, quote, Hollywood kids. They're interacting with each other and cutting each other off and just giving each other stick, as kids would often do, Chris. How we would mock each other in the playground and point fun at each other's flaws. That's fun.
Yeah. Yes, that's fun. I remember those brutal mock sessions. Yeah, so they're meant to be acting as normal, your typical 80s, or in general, kids and that lot. I think the dynamic between the group works well. Yeah, that's fair enough. I believe that there was friendship there. And luckily, I didn't clock on about how they were useless protagonists until after the film ended. So I was able to enjoy the whole movie before thinking about it and going, hang on a minute. Because I think if I'd realised how, like, at the end of the film, as the ship was flying up, and it's going to be that happy moment of the aliens escaped, it's been set free. If I'd realised it then, I would have been like, no, why?
Again, that didn't bother me. The end bit, though, with the alien taking off, this alien that's killed people and terrorized this town to get its spaceship and bugger off. We don't know a whole lot about the alien, which I think I liked. We get a clear sense of its motivation. It just wants to go home because humans are not good, or at least the ones that it's encountered, the people on the military that captured it and tortured it. It just wants to leave this shithole and go back to wherever it came from. But yeah, the design of it is kind of Cloverfield-esque, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, two sort of main hind legs and upper body with what, 4 arms?
Too many arms.
Too many arms. But I mean, the alien design, I liked it. There was nothing I thought that was amazing. The CG on it was passable for the film. It didn't bother me or anything. When the alien leaves and it's flying off in its ship, like you said, I was thinking, well, it's killed all these people. It's caused possibly millions of dollars of damage to these towns. And yes, the humans that encountered the Air Force scientists and whatnot that have tortured it and pissed it off, it's going to bring its buddies back. It's going to like, fuck this planet. I came to this planet for whatever reason, or I crash landed here. Well, they're nice. No, I'm going to bring back my buddies, and they're going to have their bigger ships with their guns, and we're going to blow the planet up. They should not have let the alien left for the humanity's safety. They should have shot that ship down as it was trying to leave.
Yeah, it could very well just come back Independence Day style and blow everyone up with a big blue laser. So, yeah.
But instead we get this bittersweet moment of it flying up, and it's all going to be emotional and that lot. And then a kid loses the necklace from his mum that she's had from the day he was born.
He lets it go. I was screaming at the TV, don't let it go. It's like a keepsake with your mum. It's got your picture in it and your baby picture. You don't need to let it go. The alien still would have flown off anyway. It's fine. That's important.
Now, see, I said the opposite. I don't think it would have left if he hadn't let go.
Because I think it would have.
Well, no, okay, so at the end of the film, the alien's rebuilding its spaceship. It's got these little white blocks that you learn early in the film can be changed into any sort of shape or material that it likes. Now, it uses these blocks to build the top half of its ship, but the other half of its ship's sort of being built within the water tower. And it's pulling up metal towards it, but it's only pulling up certain metals, not everything metal that went up, which makes me think whatever the ship was pulling up was metal that it needed to use. Ergo, his necklace was something it needed to use. If he'd not let go of the necklace, I don't think the ship would have taken off.
I think it had all of the cubes. I think the water tower bit was just maybe where it was hiding the cubes. I don't think the metal bits it was attracting were used for any sort of propulsion. Maybe the water inside the water tank was useful, but I don't think any of the metal stuff was.
I think it was, because why was it only pulling forward certain metal bits? And it can't be, it was just close to it, because, I mean, like, they're standing there watching it, and a car lifts up from behind them. And none of the other cars lift up, just as one car that lifts up and flies over their head into it, sort of thing. So it is picking certain metals for it to pick up.
Or it could be a budget thing.
They couldn't afford to have all the metal bits fly up.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to look afterwards. I don't think it was using the metal, and it needed its one necklace to hold together, like a fuel line or something.
Nah.
And why doesn't it take off until the kid lets go of the necklace?
Plot convenience, dramatic tensions, symbolic of the kid letting go of his grief over his dead mother, and now embracing the new dynamic he has with his father.
Is it going to be a new dynamic, or is it going to fast forward another 4 months and everything's back to how it was? Because everyone's been Men in Black to mine erased anyway.
No, I think having an encounter with a giant alien that almost ate your kid will put a new perspective on your life situation. I mean, it worked for the drunk dad. I'm sure he'll be nicer to Alice in the future and less of a dick.
I don't think so. I think he's going to start drinking more heavily after this to come to terms with this horrific alien creature he saw, and how his daughter was kidnapped because of him in the first place. He'll have nightmares about the thing kidnapping his daughter, so he'll drink more so he's able to sleep, and then his life will spiral out of control. there are profound effects for everybody. This is not a happy ending to this film at all. You've got the threat of an alien invasion. You've got people that can have severe psychological and trauma from it and everything. And no one's going to be okay after this. This is not a happy movie.
The Air Force is probably going to burn everyone that saw the alien to...
Exactly. They're going to wipe that town out. This town's going to have a major gas explosion in the weeks following the alien leaving, and there's going to be, no survivors.
It's what happened to Elliot and E.T.
Oh my god.
The men in those hazmat suits came back and shot up the whole town.
And when we're going to show you, phone home, kid. And that was it.
Yeah. That obviously doesn't happen in E.T. or this film. It's a happy ending, Chris, because it's, 80s feel good, kids on an adventure, schlock, although the alien did feel quite threatening when it had them pinned down in that bus.
I did like that scene, yes, and then the look on the army guy's face, is it Nellick?
Air Force, Chris. Air Force.
Air Force guy.
It's alright, I'm going to say army as well.
So he's like, I haven't got the key, I can't let the kids out. And I was like, he's not going to fucking bother. I thought he was just going to ditch, like, screw it, the kids are going to die anyway, I'll just leave them alone. And,
I like that he wasn't like flat out, fuck the kids, and then try to leave. He did try to stand up to the kids. I don't know whether that was... That probably wasn't his ideal scenario. I think if he had a way out, he would have taken it, but stood up for the kids, sort of. He gave them enough time to escape, at least.
He did, but that definitely was not his intention to give him time to escape. He was pinned in there. He had no way to get out. So he's like, oh, fuck. All right, I'm just going to try and fight this thing. He did not care at all about his kids. He did when he thought he had the keys, and when he realized he didn't have the keys, he was like, oh, screw the kids. They're going to die anyway.
No, I think when he realised he didn't have the keys, he was like, oh, shit, I've killed these kids. This is a lot of paperwork that I'm not going to have to do. There wasn't a way out for Nellick. But that's where we come in, isn't it, Chris? I'm sure you've got plenty of ideas and plans to sneak out of this overturned bus as a giant hulking alien comes at you and all you have is a machine gun and a pocket full of dreams.
Yeah, damn right I do. The bus is laying on its side, isn't it? So why doesn't he just shoot out one of the windows and climb out of it?
They're quite sturdy windows. I mean, some kids break it, so...
They break it open, don't they? I mean... If the kids can do that, then whatever rifle he's using there, if he aims at the window that's above him, I'm pretty sure he could shoot and get out there.
Okay, he could do, and then he'd have to try and outrun the alien.
Well, I mean, all you do is you jump off the side of the bus, and then you sort of just have to hide around the bus, because at which point the kids get out, and they're like, oh, no, oh my god, and he's like, oh, kids, get him. And then you just hide, don't you?
I think the alien, because the alien knows... the general, doesn't he? He's got a personal gripe. So I don't think the alien would stop long enough to be distracted by the kids. Because we see it in the tunnel. It casually chases down some of the kids, but just picks up the sheriff and just tosses him back and then just keeps on going. So it might be something like that with the kids, where it just barrels through them to get to Nellick.
Possibly. In which case, don't be on a bus when it comes then. You got to shoot the window out, get out, and you've got to run and keep shooting and pray that you can get away from it.
No. How would you kill it? Because I don't think you could outrun it because it's big and fast.
Well, I mean, how do you kill it? I mean,
I don't know. This thing
doesn't get killed, does he? No, he gets happy Lula and escape. Yay, everything's roses. So
because we don't even get a suggestion of a weakness.
Exactly. All we know is that, lucky for the alien, it can breathe Earth's atmosphere. That's pretty lucky for it, isn't it?
We don't know that. It might have caught a cold or something and it dies in its spaceship from the common cold, like War of the Worlds.
I don't think that. And the film is set in 1979. The alien's been there since 1956. Yeah, it's fine living on Earth.
Do you reckon if the alien grabbed you, you could feel enough remorse that it would go, oh, okay, you've learnt your lesson?
No, not in the slightest. I think if it grabbed me, it would drop me and go, oh my god, you're disgusting. And I'll go, yeah, exactly, you don't want to eat me. You know where I've been and what I've been doing.
It just step on you instead.
No, it won't even want to touch me again. It'd be like, oh god, why? And then it'd be trying to wash his little hands away, with quite his big hands, actually.
It just crushed the bus with you in it.
Yeah. So do you think it took picking up this child and having, it's a child's innocence Oh God, it's more lardy-dardy stuff in the film, isn't it? It's the innocence of a child to do it. Whereas really, he should have picked up the kid and gone, "Hang on, you're a horny little devil because you want to get with that other girl." Not.
Well, no, that's
I'm gonna be fine.
no. I think the alien saw in Joe that they'd uncovered enough of the alien's backstory that they felt sorry for it, and they just wanted it to leave, and that he didn't mean it any harm. But it was eating people, and it was probably going to eat Alice, which also brings me to the question, whose leg was it gnawing on? Because we know it wasn't the sheriff. We know it wasn't the lady with the hair curlers in her hair. It could have been the wire engineering guy, or it could have been Brim from from the gas store. So,
well, I imagine it's one of them then, and they both seem like likable characters. And
they were
the
doing
alien
their jobs.
so fuck you, alien.
Yeah, not good. I hope it wasn't Brim.
Oh, because he's got his Walkman.
Yeah, he's got so many cassette tapes to listen to, and when like the CD player comes out, blow his frickin' mind, won't it?
Well, I mean, let's face it, him and the guy from the power company, they're both dead because they weren't in there hanging.
They might have been. We saw some other bodies, but we didn't actually get like close-ups of them, so they might still be alive, and it might just be a random leg. But probably Brem.
Exactly, which means this alien is still taking innocent people, like what's his name, Bren.
Yeah,
and taking Brem and he's all innocent and stuff. He hasn't done anything, and that alien's fucking him up, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. Not a nice alien.
Exactly, and then they let it go. Oh God, the film will come out and there'll be Super 8 Part 2. Oh shit, and it'll be like a massive alien invasion that's coming down, and then that kid's gonna be like, "Don't worry, just let me go out and touch all the aliens, and I'll telepathically tell them humans are good." It's not gonna work like that. The world is going to end. That's why there's no sequel, because the world ended 2 weeks later.
Yeah, we're 10 years out as well. Also, not all films need a sequel, Chris. Also,
we've been over this. All films need a sequel, and all films will get a sequel.
No, this is just fine without a sequel. It's a nice update to like an 80s action adventure genre, which is fair enough. I liked it. I liked it on its own, standalone. Yeah, I don't think you need anything else. Yeah, it's a miracle though that guy survived the train crash, crashing his car head on straight into a train, and he wasn't
Dr. Woodward.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lord, how the fuck did he do that? Because he has a head-on collision into a full speeding train. It wasn't like he parked the truck across the road and got out of it. That was a full head-on collision, and a lot of his truck was still intact.
Yep.
His injuries were so minor that not only did he regain consciousness, he was able to clearly know what was going on around him, clearly communicate, so he didn't have a concussion or anything like that. He was able to hold a gun and to scare off the kids and that lot. How? In a head-on collision with a fucking speeding train.
Chris, you either die a hero in a train crash or you live long enough to see yourself become poisoned to death by the Air Force for knowing military secrets.
Yeah, that seemed a little bit harsh, that
It did. I'm amazed he lived long enough to be murdered. That's ridiculous. Also, what? That was his plan. Drive the car into the train. Not like build a barricade or anything. Sometimes you can stop a train by putting the wrong kinds of leaves on the line. All the trains in the UK are delayed because of wet leaves on the line. I mean, just dump a bunch of leaves on the line.
Oh, no. Apparently. I mean, he must have been running late because he only just gets there in time, doesn't he?
What else was he doing?
I don't know. Maybe he's like sitting there in a American diner and he's having his burger and his fries and his milkshake. Sorry, very stereotypical. And then he's just like, "Oh shit, I'm meant to be somewhere. There's an alien coming on a train." Runs out in his truck,
marking papers for the kids. Like
fail. Oh fuck, alien.
Joe's not done very well on this biology. Oh shit! Today's the day that my friend the alien's coming along on the train. Dear me. Yeah.
Also, he's like, I'm going to derail the train. I'm going to set the alien free. What do you think the alien would do? That it would build its ship immediately and leave? No, he's responsible for every death this alien has caused.
Yep, almost kids that he knew.
Exactly. Almost kids that almost died as well. It's fucking, oh god.
Depending on how long
Nothing.
he'd actually been teaching there, he might have even taught Brem.
Oh my god! And now Brem's been eaten.
Possibly.
Oh my god! This guy's fucking around. He did not think this through. Maybe it was
No,
a split-second decision. He had the map with the train drawn up, but he was just drawing lines on the map.
I don't know. No, I really enjoyed it, and I might actually watch it again this weekend. I enjoyed it that much.
Oh my god! Really?
Yeah,
Oh well, I don't. No, I'm not. If I watch this film again, it will not be for at least a couple of years.
but binge it, Chris, man. I'm going to pretend it's season 4 of Stranger Things and just go ham on it.
It is not Stranger Things at all. Just because it's not even set in the 80s. It's set in the late 70s.
It's close enough.
Oh my god. No. And I mean, not only do we have Dr. Woodward surviving a head-on collision with the train, which should have definitely killed him, Ali's dad surviving the car crash when he's chasing her and she's on a bicycle. They have a fight and she goes off on her bicycle and he's like, oh god, I fucked up. And he's chasing after her and he's like, I'm assuming under the influence of some alcohol or something. And I was like, well, this is going to end badly. But that's a pretty brutal car crash and he walked away with, again, what looked to be quite minor injuries.
Well, he was wearing a seatbelt, and statistically, if you're drunk, you're more likely to survive a car crash because you're floppy. You don't brace for the impact.
Is that real? Because I
No,
heard that in American Dad and I assumed it was some cartoon bullshit.
no, it's a real thing. Sadly,
Oh my god.
so,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. Also, it wasn't a train, and you got crumple zones and stuff in both sets of the cars, so the impact would have been lessened. Although he is still a little bit woozy enough that he's not going to be able to go out and fight a smallish Cloverfield monster thing.
I mean, he looked like he sustained more injuries than Dr. Woodward did in a head-on collision with a fucking train.
No, I don't think so. I think Woodward got off slightly worse. Just slightly, though. He had 1 or 2 more cuts on his face, which, as we all know, is the maximum amount of injury that you'll get if you decide to run headfirst into a train.
Exactly. And the flies as well. You know, it's the flies in that scene when the general Nellick is talking to Woodward before they murder him brutally in his bed. There's
No,
flies everywhere, man. I was thinking, oh my, why?
I didn't see the flies.
You watch that. Okay, you watch this film again on the weekend. Watch that scene, and there's flies are crawling all over Woodward's head, and when one flies in front of Nellick's face, and he like blinks a bit to it. So I don't know if they put the flies in there on purpose, or they just couldn't get rid of the flies while they were filming that scene.
Well, maybe it added a touch of realism, because they are, countryside-ish, so there would be flies. Also, Woodward probably smells like death, because he's, blood everywhere. Flies might be attracted to that smell.
Yeah, but he would have survived, wouldn't he? He took a head-on train. He wasn't going to die from a little few cuts on his face.
Yeah. Do you think... Yeah, he's definitely dead. That was poison they put in, not like some truth serum or torture drug, wasn't it?
Well, they emphasised that quite clearly, and I think a bit too much, when it showed the guy filling the syringe up and the bottle had a fucking biohazard symbol on it. And I was thinking, oh, geez, how much more? They should put a skull and crossbones on there. We get it, it's a poison. They could have just done a clear liquid and injected it into him. I mean, it was pretty obvious he died afterwards.
Off screen, though. Tasteful.
Oscar.
Kid-friendly death, Chris.
Oh, yeah, only one account of serious sort of blood things, because they were trying to hold this back, weren't they? Like you said, to make it more friendly for a younger audience, perhaps. So
Yeah.
we get minimal injuries to... Oh, that's why he survived a head-on collision. They don't show half split in half, half of his body evaporated by the force of the train. The dad gets minimal injuries, and then it's only Nellick. Is it Nellick, I think, when it wants to get to him, you see a little bit of a blood explosion, but it cuts away so quickly you don't really catch it.
Yeah, well, it's that kind of Jurassic Park blood where there's no chunks. It's just a cartoon splatter. And we get one F-bomb from maybe the second greatest character in this, the film, well, the guy that works in the camera store with the film, the stoner guy. He drops an F-bomb, so yeah. This was a 12, wasn't it?
I have no idea, but I knew it was going to be more toned down. This was my first viewing of the film, and I thought it will be toned down slightly. Hopefully not too much, but I knew it would be toned down somewhat slightly. He's not going to be like Predator with blood and guts everywhere.
No, I wouldn't say it was toned down, because it's not going for that tone anyway. It's not like censored. It's not like when you watch a 15 version of a film before The Watershed and they cut out like 20 minutes of it.
Oh, I hate it when they do that.
Yeah. If you haven't watched Super 8, and I know I'm 10 years behind the times, you should watch it because it's good. Any thoughts to sum up, Chris?
No, overall it's a good film. Not everyone's going to be happy with the ending. A lot of people, if they're clocking about the use as protagonist thing, might put you off. But the film in general is good, and it is watchable. Not one of my favourite Alien films, I must say. It will be a long time before I even consider watching this film again. But overall, not a waste of time to watch it. Not like The Predator, which is the worst Alien movie I've ever seen.
Oh dear. I thought Alien Covenant was the worst Alien film you'd ever seen. Oh,
I'd rather watch Alien Covenant than The Predator, I tell you that right now.
That is a bold claim.
Michael Fassbender fingering the other Michael Fassbender's flute while they're playing it, than watching the fucking Predator again.
The one redeeming thing about that film. Anyway, if you've got any thoughts on Super 8, you can email them to us, wecouldssurvivethat@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at WeCouldSurvive. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah, darn tootin' right it is. Or you can find small cubes, they say we could survive on the side of them, and you collect enough of those, you can build one of us, because they shapeshift.
Do they?
I mean, I hope they do, because if not, I've been picking up all these cubes for no reason.
Put them back. Stop picking up random crap you find on the street, Chris. Come on. Could be anything.
It's just rubbish. I'm so bored that during this lockdown I've been picking up other people's rubbish.
Well, good. It's a good use of your time, litter picking. Actually, there has been an increase in people doing that, actually. It's very good for the environment.
I actually saw an elderly lady doing that today while I was out. I was driving, and I saw an elderly lady. She had a yellow bucket and a little, those picker things, and she was picking up rubbish from the sidewalk.
Oh, good. So you opened the door and chucked out a load of used water bottles at her.
That's it. Antibacterial wipes that I'd used, the old masks.
Face masks. Just chuck them all at the old lady.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah, you're a mean man, Chris. So that's it, Chris. That is it.
Okay, have we got anything planned for next week?
Look, Chris, I'm sick of you always asking me what's going to happen next week. So I want to fight you virtually on the podcast with a classic We Could Survive That survival off. I had you go in there, didn't I?
Oh my god, we didn't even plan that. You poured it out so smoothly. Oh, I love that bit. Okay. Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah. Survival off, Chris, next week. And then the week after that, maybe some Batman stuff for the Snyder Cut.
Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah. I'm down for that. 1989, Tim Burton, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, or Adam West. Oh no, we've done Adam West, haven't we?
We've done Adam West. But lucky I've got my shark repellent bat spray.
Ah.
I don't know his exact line, but good job he has that.
Classic gadget. You'd be lost without it. Yeah, so that's it, Chris. You can end the show now, and I won't lure you into any more traps where I pretend to be angry at you.
Don't worry, I knew you wasn't really angry. It's fine.
Maybe it was a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of anger in there. Oh, good.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you to everybody who's been listening to We Could Survive That, your weekly survival guide to the 80s. No, 1979 to the 70s. I'm sorry. We will see you next week for a survival off. But until then, keep on surviving. And dear God, stay away from speeding trains. Goodbye.